I know you're going to be shocked, but Dion has told me and Matt that we are both wrong again. We both actually technically made mistakes. So I'm going to sit here and figure out what mistake I made this time. Dion, how's it going?
I love both of you guys. And I'm pointing out a mistake that we all made. All three of us made this mistake. And I kind of thought of this because I was talking with Mike, Millennial Mike, and Millennial is not his first name, but Millennial Mike. And I was trying to, on the top of the hill, you got the old bull and the young bull. Trying to give you, here's, don't make this mistake that I made. Don't make this mistake that Zuber made or that the lumberjack landlord made. And we all made it. So we help people reach financial freedom, invest in rentals, one rental at a time, or get to 4, have a better retirement, whatever the thing is, we're helping improve their finances. And we all reached financial freedom, made work optional. I want Mike, Millennial Mike, to retire when he can. When the numbers, the math, and his life make sense for him to retire. I don't want him to wait until Zuber, you go into work, you're planning to work 5 more years. You tell your boss, here's the things I don't want to do going forward. And the boss says, well, that's the list of things we're giving you today. And so 45 minutes later, you're in the car on the way home, calling Olivia saying, I don't work anymore. Matt, you work at a company for years beyond financial freedom, right? I was there for 4 years past it too, loved my job. And you waited for a sale. Now, yes, I get if you go to people and you say, I might have been compensated for this sale and money is a strong temptation, but did you need it? Did it have a financial impact that said, okay, now financial freedom is possible? And myself, I stayed at a job for 4 years because I loved it. And then one day I had such a great day. I realized I'm at the top of my game, that there is no higher wave to ride. This is it. I could do this longer, right? So at 70, I'll be able to say I got to the top and then I stayed there for 5 years. And so we all retired, making the mistake of letting work tell us when to pull the trigger.
That is very interesting, right? Because again, I want Millennial Mike, as do all of us, I'm sure, to retire when it's right for him, when the numbers make sense and life makes sense. He has a very dangerous job. And, I think he told us, all of us actually told the event, so I'll share it. He was shot at 3 times last year. And thankfully none this year, but that's I want him to be out as soon as possible. And I think he's on path to do that somewhere between 2 and 5 years. But you're so right. I never even thought about leaving until that morning. It was not even a speck of an idea. I was so wrapped up in my job. And you're right. That was a mistake. And the big mistake that I look back now and I want everybody to figure out is we're all going to have I call it a second season, right? There's the work season and then there's the after work season. And the thing that I should have been doing was building the after work season, at least a little, while working. And that's why I implore everyone who follows me, who's on this journey to financial freedom, do yourself a favor and build that second season at least a little bit while you're working. That way you have something to move into, man. I got to tell you, quitting, being financially free, and getting depressed, it's a horrible combination. Don't do that. It was clearly a mistake. Matt?
I mean, Dion, I didn't realize we got married. So you're telling me all the stuff I do wrong all the time. Jerk face. Whatever.
I can't marry you. I'm sorry. I'm promised to Millennial Mike for, future life partner for tax benefits.
I understand. That's probably better suit you. I understand. Too many fat guys in one room. I get it. So I think that, I think what Mike was just saying about, literally retiring to something, kind of having life prepped. Like I literally had my entire March scheduled. I mean, I knew I was flying out to Vegas. I knew I was going to go speak at the event, at Mike's amazing ORAD event. Knew I was going out there and speaking, getting to meet a bunch of people. And so I knew I was doing that. And so I kind of felt ridiculous. Is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe it is the right word. I was an over planner. Like I was like, I'm retiring on the 1st. And then on the 14th, as a Valentine's Day present to myself, I'm leaving that day, not the 15th, but the 14th. And then on the 15th, I was on a plane to Las Vegas. And then, you know, on March 1st, I was home and I had weeks scheduled of all my projects starting and going and having meetings at town halls. And so I don't feel like I retired still yet. I feel like but I'm very happy that I'm not doing 2 jobs or 3 jobs anymore. I love the 2 jobs I have. You know, being a dad and running my company. But man, that other job, boy, that sucked. But I made time for it because that's what I was getting paid for. But the 45 hours a week that I get back from not having to do that job, the peace of mind that I have, knowing that sure, some people's paychecks depend on me, but it's something that's much more in my control and how I operate my company as opposed to this amorphous, you know, silly black box. So yeah, I hope for Mike, you know, I think Zoob's advice is best for Millennial Mike, which is just make sure you kind of got life set up, you know, because there was not downtime for me. My downtime was the 2 weeks after I finished the ORAD event. That was my downtime, hanging out with my kids. And then I came back, I got back into it and it was, okay, this is the hat that I now wear. And I've been to town halls more times in the last month and a half than I have in probably the last 7 years. Cause I usually had to meet them off site and before business hours. So yeah, I agree with that.
They're probably going to ask you, don't you want to go back to work?
Yeah.
So I have a solution to the retire early problem that a lot of people face. And for some of us, yeah, I think we make the mistake of letting work tell us when to quit, right? That it gets such a bad day or there's a transaction with the company or something that says, now I can do it. And we take it a step further. There are people out there who say, well, I would never want to retire early because I don't know what I'd do with my time. I'd be so bored. Work is everything. Or I've got my work family, right? I got a work wife. I've got all my friends I've been paid to hang out with for the last 10 years. I think the solution, and this is one of those Dionisms that people always throw back at me, is I want people to build a life where work is in the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if Millennial Mike is sitting there and he's just got work, he's not going to want to retire. But if he has a kid he wants to coach and he's playing soccer and he's helping people get started in financial freedom and get into rentals, work is that thing that's it's taking up time on his schedule to where when he finally gets the finances set up and he can go, okay, this is in the way, let me get rid of this. And for some people, that's maybe rock climbing, maybe it's camping, RVing, traveling to other countries, restoring old cars. What do you do outside of work that gets you fired up, that to where you're like, oh, I can do this, okay, at least once a week for sure. But if I didn't have a job, I could do it whenever I felt like. And Matt, you said you got those 45 hours back. You know, it's a minimum 45 hours that you got back.
Sure.
But the time outside of those 45 hours that you had for your family,
So much
you
better.
were tired.
Sure, of course.
You'd be wiped out. And now that, when's the last time you've been, I mean, you have a kid that punches you at 4 o'clock in the morning and wakes you up sometimes, but
5, yes.
Just been wiped out, exhausted, tired since you retired?
Probably when I got back from 2 weeks in Vegas.
Vegas got all of us. I've had to say that as a caveat. Yep.
Yeah,
Super wipes me out.
Yeah. I was just, I got back and I was like, oh,
yeah.
I was like, I said to Ashley, I go, thank God I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Oh my I was like, if not, I'd have a Zuber moment. Yeah. Go F yourself. I'm done. Yeah. Pound it. So, but yeah, exactly right.
Funny. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. I really think there's something to this. I want people to realize you're going to have 2 seasons, right? There's the work season and then there's the after work season. For a lot of people that are chasing the 40-40 life, the after work season comes at 65 or 70 and you're, you know, best case semi-healthy.
Yeah.
Right. What if the second season started at 45 or 46 or 52 or shoot, Millennial Mike, 30, I don't know, 7, whatever. Just know that second season is coming and just do a little bit of work building something. Now, if I had that, I would not have been depressed. Being depressed sucks.
I can imagine.
It's not good. Not good.
Imagine.
Dion, closing thoughts?
Well, you can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. I do live streams every Tuesday where I try to help people build a life where work is in the way.
There you go. Matt, closing thoughts and where they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a developer now. I mean, a banker told me about 6 months ago, you're not really a developer though. I get confused every time I'm looking at blueprints and writing checks to massive contractors, but sure, whatever you say. So I
Whatever
think
you say.
my real job had nothing to do with what I do now in my life. And thank God I didn't go to college and pay a bunch of money for it. But yeah, it's been a blast, but I would strongly encourage people to take your advice and make sure that they've at least set up some of the chutes to go down and into to be able to make that transition a whole lot easier.
I love it, folks. I want you to have 2 seasons, the work season and the after work season. I hope it is long and prosperous. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Ciao.